Reminded me of last year's Envision when John Perkins was here. Did anyone get to see him? It's awesome. He said something that really stuck with me that I think is really important. He talked about sociopaths, which is a pretty yucky subject, but the reality is that there's a lot of sociopaths, and that the large corporations that seem to be running things in this current paradigm, or eating the world, as I like to say, they're run by people who don't have a natural ability to empathize with other people, and so that's a pretty unhappy thing, but that's unfortunately the reality that we're dealing with. So he said that in order to create the change that we're wanting to see, that we actually need to redefine what it means to be successful. And in a way that includes people who are like that, whose brains are structured in that way. And that means that we define success to mean that those who contribute the most to their communities are the most successful. And so I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I can't predict the future, but I know that plays a really big key piece. That's a key puzzle piece in creating the world that we want to see. We have to redefine success. We have to redefine quite a few things. But if we start to think of success not as accumulating the most material possessions, the most good, and just whoever dies with the most toys wins, then we're going to make a lot more progress. Or, excuse me, for lack of a better word, we'll be able to create the world that we want to live in. Another thing that really resonated with me was what you said about competition. And just as an interesting tidbit, I was reading a study recently about trees, which are probably one of the most magnificent creatures that populates our Earth, and how scientists are starting to understand that that competition and only the strong survive. You know, we hear that a lot when we're watching nature shows or something, right? Like only the strong survive, and the natural world is characterized only by competition. Competition actually doesn't characterize the natural world as much as we thought, especially when we look at trees and their relationship with the soil and with the mycelium that lives in the soil. Trees share nutrients with one another. When we look at a forest, from the outside, and if we're coming from the mindset of, oh no, everything's competing, they're all competing for sunlight, oh, that must be hard to be a tree. It's actually not really like that. They look like they're competing up there, and on some, a little bit they are, but they talk to each other under the soil, and mycelium is the facilitator of that. And there's things called mother trees, and they share nutrients with their babies and with their relatives that are part of the same species. So it's that hidden, it's what's beneath the soil. It's not just the, what's up there. It's there's more to the picture than that. And so if we're mirroring our businesses with the natural world, and we're looking for the things that are nurturing, and we're building a nurturing world, then we'll actually be able to see that the natural world is just like what we're trying to build, and we can mirror the natural world in that way. And just to answer the question and wrap it up, I would say that that we have to do it. Like, if you asked me 5 years ago if I would be here right now, I would say no. I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., and I'm going to be a graphic designer. No. Now I'm here at this crazy festival talking to you guys. And I never thought that I would go into business, actually. I thought I would just work in an office and just pay off my student loans and have a cool life, but that's not how it played out. There's more of a drive. And so the only real answer is that we actually just have to do it. We have to be the business leaders of the future. We can't let other people do it. We have to be the organizers. We have to be the people that do things. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.